Hi everyone, my name's Chris Cowlin, Tottenham fan, and I run a YouTube channel called Tottenham Fan Chris Cowlin, and this is just a short preview on the Tottenham v Newcastle game this Sunday at 4:30. Let's start with where the game is being played, our brand new stadium, the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I know that a lot of Newcastle fans obviously haven't been to the stadium yet. It is one hell of a place to go. It will probably be, or probably turn into one of your favourite Premier League grounds to visit. I know I'm going to be biased and say that, but it really is something magnificent and something that every away fan is very pleased about and very pleased to visit. It is just a fantastic place. 62,000, over 62,000 now is the capacity. It was 36 at White Hart Lane, so it is a huge difference. But I think that Tottenham will start to create a fortress there. I think that the noise is getting better and better. Lots of singing from the Tottenham fans. Obviously, we've got a lot more fans in there, but that single stand, that south stand, holding 17,500 fans, it must be very daunting for the opposition. So, any Newcastle fan travelling down to the game, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy our brand new stadium, which I'm sure you will. Now, I just want to touch on the results so far in the Premier League. Obviously, Tottenham played their opening Premier League game at home for the first time in about 10 years. So it was nice to actually start with a home game. We beat Aston Villa 3-1 after going 1-0 down. The first half wasn't that great. Second half, Tottenham turned it around, and Harry Kane does what Harry Kane does, and got a couple of goals for us, and we turned the game round, and it was a much needed 3 points. It's always good to start with 3 points, and obviously a win. Then the draw at Manchester City last weekend, 2-2. I know VAR helped us in the dying seconds, but it just showed character from Tottenham after going 1-0 down, then going 2-1 down, to come back twice against the Premier League champions at the Etihad. I think Tottenham showed an awful lot of character. So, and I think it's very important as well for a club like Tottenham chasing that top 4 position again. I know some pundits are talking about Tottenham going for the Premier League. I'm not so sure. I think it's top 4 for us this season. But as I say, the character we showed at the Etihad, I thought was excellent. And two shots, 2 goals. So it shows that we were very clinical on the finishing. Now, Newcastle obviously haven't started that well. Played 2 Premier League games and lost both of them to Arsenal and to Norwich. What can I say? I'm not really that surprised, if I'm honest. I was quite surprised, and this is no disrespect to Newcastle as well. Newcastle is one of my favourite Premier League grounds to visit, not only for the stadium, but the fans as well. I love the Newcastle fans, I really do. Their passion is just fantastic, and they're just so friendly as well. But to appoint Steve Bruce in the summer, I just can't see that as a step forward for the club. And I know how a lot of Newcastle fans feel. I keep in touch with quite a few Newcastle fans, and to have a chairman that don't want to spend any money and don't want to drive the club forward, and now to have a manager like Steve Bruce. I remember Newcastle of the 90s. I remember Newcastle, wanting to win the Premier League title. Signing players like David Ginola and having a manager such as Kevin Keegan playing really decent, entertaining football, and how that has changed now. And I know a lot of Newcastle fans saying that Mike Ashley is only interested in finishing just above the relegation zone just to get the money in. I just think it's such a shame, to support your club, and I know how Newcastle fans support their club. They're very passionate, as I said. To have nothing to really look forward to, and just keep plodding along, must just be a shame. And to go and see your club every week, it just must be so difficult, and I just cannot imagine that. And I hope that never ever happens in my lifetime, with Tottenham. Now, I do actually expect Tottenham to make a few changes. I know we've got our brand new signing. He made his debut, Giovanni Lo Celso, made his debut at the Etihad, had about 5 or 6 minutes, didn't really touch the ball very much. But I expect him to start. I would love to see him start, and I'd love to see him turn it on against Newcastle at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday. And of course, Heung-min Son is back as well. Everyone thought that we would miss Heung-min Son against Aston Villa and Manchester City, but we have players now, we have good depth, and we have players who can come in and do the job. But to have Sonny back and to have Giovanni Lo Celso on the sidelines all ready to come in as well, I think that we have great options and really good attacking options as well. Harry Kane, of course, is always hungry for goals. I know it's August, but he broke the August duck, and you know, last year, and Harry Kane is just so hungry, and he just wants to score. You know, goal after goal after goal, and he wants to break every single record at Tottenham. So all I can see really is Tottenham goals on Sunday. But I'm just going to go for a comfortable 2-0 Tottenham win. That's what I'm going to go for. And I can see Harry Kane getting one of them, and I can see Sonny getting one of them as well. As far as what do I expect of Tottenham and Newcastle this season, I personally would love to see Tottenham win a trophy. I think it's way, way long overdue. You know, we haven't won a League Cup since 2008. We haven't won an FA Cup since 1991. Haven't won a league title since 1961. It just needs to happen. It really does. This is Pochettino's 6th season in charge. We've had a very, very good 5 years under Pochettino so far, 5 seasons. But a trophy really does need to top it off. It really does. And I know we come so close on the 1st of June against Liverpool in the Champions League. Hugely disappointing, you know, to get to a final. You know, no matter who the opposition is, when you reach the final, you think you've got a real chance, and then of course the game is ruined after 30 seconds or so with the penalty decision. But as far as what do I expect for Tottenham this year, I expect us to win a trophy of some kind, even if it is a League Cup, even if it is an FA Cup. I think that it just needs to happen, and you know, some of our players, certainly the likes of Hugo Lloris and Harry Kane and Dele Alli and Sonny and players like this, they deserve to have trophies now on their mantelpiece, and they do need that very soon. As far as what do I expect of Newcastle, I expect Newcastle to survive. I don't think that they will get relegated. I think that they are too good for that. I think that their fans will probably see them through. I think it will, if the fans support the club as they do, I think that they will just scrape relegation. But perhaps, you know, would I expect Steve Bruce to be there at the end of the season? I'm not so sure. But you know, who takes over? Who takes over at that club where, you know, they're not really allowed to do very much? David Ginola actually put an announcement out. I think it was in the last 24 hours, saying one day he would love to manage Newcastle. Even as a Tottenham fan, I would love to see David Ginola manage Newcastle. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. The way that he used to play, the team that he was in under Kevin Keegan as well, it'd be brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I'd look forward to that one day. So I just finished this video off with a little stat. The clubs have actually played each other 160 times in all competitions in their history. Tottenham have won 70, Newcastle have won 58, and then it's finished a draw on 32 occasions. Spurs have actually won the last 4 Premier League games against Newcastle. 2 of those games are at Wembley, and they both finished 1-0 to Spurs. And then the 2 games at St James's Park in the Premier League finished 2-0 to Tottenham in August 17 and 2-1 in August 18. And as I said earlier, my prediction is Tottenham 2, Newcastle 0.